do you answer the question, what do you do? Right? If you're out at a networking event, or if someone logs into your website and that very first statement is supposed to tell them exactly what you do, who you do it for, and how it benefits them. Well, that, my love, is what everyone calls your 60-second commercial or your elevator pitch, or in real technical terms, your unique value proposition. It's one of the hardest things to create, and it's also one of the most stressful things to come up with off the top of your head when you get that dreaded question, "Hi, my name is, what do you do?" Well, today, my love, fret no more, because I am going to teach you exactly how to create your unique value proposition and how to come up with the perfect 60-second commercial that you can use. Let's get to work. Hey there, innovators and game changers. Whether you're creating your website, attending a networking event, pitching to investors, or trying to attract your ideal client, your unique value proposition or UVP is going to be key. Today, I'm diving in to how to craft that UVP and turn it into a compelling 60-second commercial that you can use everywhere you're trying to describe who you are, what you do, and how it benefits your audience to grab their attention and ultimately drive results. So let's get to work. So step number one in creating this UVP is truly understanding what it is. And you have to know exactly what your UVP is and why it's crucial. So your unique value proposition is a clear statement that describes the benefit of your offer, how you solve your customer needs, and what distinguishes you from the competition. So some key points with this UVP or this 60-second commercial is the benefit, the target audience, and the differentiation. Those are three key tips that you've got to include in your unique value proposition. And the benefit is what you're offering, right? What it is that you do, what your service is, what your product is, and exactly what you're giving to people. And then ultimately, who it is that you're targeting so that the other person knows whether or not they are someone that's going to benefit from that ultimate offering. And then also why they should work with you. What are you going to do? What are you going to benefit them with? What's in it for them? And that's really the key pieces of what that UVP looks like. Now, if you want a more deep understanding of what a UVP is and how to create one, I want you to make sure that you grab my Crafting Your Unique Value Proposition checklist. It is an amazing tool that's really quick on a one-pager that you can see all of the components of a UVP in a 60-second commercial that you can use in order to be able to craft that all-important statement. And you can go ahead and grab it at the link in the description below, or you can also grab it at the link in the comments, or you can go directly to CherylCperez.com/UVP checklist and grab it. It's an amazing tool that I put together for you in order to dive much deeper into what I'm talking to you about today, because obviously a YouTube video can only be so long. But as we talk about that UVP, I want you to understand what those components need to be, because as you're crafting yours, you really need to be able to communicate those three key things in that one statement and do it in under 60 seconds, right? And the whole idea of an elevator pitch and why they call it that is because the idea is if you got into the elevator with someone and they turned to you and said, "Hi, nice to meet you," what it is that you do, you want to be able to answer that, attract them, become appealing to them, all while you're riding on that elevator. So if you're on the first floor and you're going up to the 13th floor or the 18th floor, you want to be able to get it all out in that time frame, which literally gives you only 60 seconds. I like to also call it now kind of your 60-second short video commercial, because nowadays Reels and TikToks and YouTube Shorts, they're all only 60 seconds long. And ideally, you want to be able to get across all of those things, the benefit, who you're targeting, and how what you do benefits them in that same time frame. So really understanding what you're crafting and why you're crafting is absolutely critical to having a good one. And I think that once you understand it, it'll be a lot easier for you to come up with yours. Now, the next step in crafting one is identifying your unique value proposition. And that's kind of core to this entire thing. This requires a deep dive into what it is that you offer. And you have to know your audience, and you have to also know what makes your solution unique. Now, in order to truly do this, you had to have already done your research. And I tell everyone that when you're in the ideation stage or when you're first coming up with your business idea, this is the time that you're doing all of the research in order to validate that idea. And this is where you knowing that deep dive and knowing how you stand out and knowing who your competition is and knowing who your audience is going to be critical. So doing that research, if you haven't done that yet, is going to be really important in order to understand how you uniquely stand out in your market. There's a great book called Blue Ocean Strategy that a lot of business professors, business schools out there recommend. My son, actually, who is a freshman and really driving towards business, has a class right now that recommended that he read that book, which I was extremely thrilled about. And that is kind of the book that really does dive deep into what your blue ocean strategy or your unique value proposition is. And the overall theme of the book is that when you're starting a business, there is this ocean, right? This red ocean of a ton of people out there that might be offering something very similar to yours. And the whole premise behind people starting businesses and wanting to make sure that they're not starting businesses where there's a lot of competition, it's kind of out the window because we're in 2024. And the likelihood that you're going to start a business that no one else has ever started and that has very low competition is going to be low and not really likely. So the idea is go ahead and start the business, because the key to starting a successful business, regardless of whether or not there's tons of competition out there, is that you have to find your blue ocean inside of the red ocean of all of those options out there. And that's going to be critical for your business regardless. And so this unique value proposition and doing all of your research around defining yours is really close to that blue ocean strategy. So go ahead and check that book out. So here's the steps I say to identifying what your UVP is. First, I want you to make sure that you're listing out all of the key benefits, both the emotional benefits and the logistical benefits of your offering, right? What key benefits does your product or service offer? Focus on ones that deliver concrete results, right? The transformation that your ideal customer is going to receive. And this is going to help you truly identify where you are unique in the market. The other thing is, again, you have to understand your audience in order to even know. So conducting market research, understanding your audience's key pain points, their challenges, and how what you're offering is going to solve those problems and challenges is going to be critical to determining what your unique value proposition is. And then also understanding your competitors, what's out there, where their strengths and weaknesses are, and figuring out how you can capitalize off of those weaknesses and what you do different than your competitors. So for me, for instance, there's a lot of folks out there who offer online coaching, who offer business coaching, who do consulting work in the sphere of business and working with entrepreneurs. But I also know that my unique value proposition is that I provide the step-by-step action items. Like for instance, in my coaching programs, we don't just sit on the phone and talk, and I don't just give you advice. In between my coaching programs and in between our coaching calls, you will be provided with online courses that will give you action items and step-by-step instruction on how to actually take action and get it done. And then we come together on the coaching calls, more of accountability, and we go through your homework. And we talk about what you got done and what you didn't get done, because for me, it's not just about coaching you verbally through, it's also about giving you the tools to actually take action and get the work done in your business. And I provide very practical step-by-step action items and processes to help you actually accomplish a goal in your business. And that's a very unique proposition for me and in my market, because most people get you on a coaching call and they'll tell you, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. But they never actually take the time to show you how to do it, or even in a coaching call, do it with you. And that's where I am very different. I show you how to get it done. I don't just tell you that you need to do it. So that is a unique value proposition, an example that you need to find inside of your offer, inside of your business, in order to craft and figure out what your unique value proposition truly is. Now, step number 3, after you have determined what your unique value proposition is to actually craft your 60-second commercial. And this is oftentimes the hardest part for most people. They're like, oh my God, how am I going to create this statement? And do I have to memorize it? And do I have to know it in and out? And what is this statement supposed to look like?
Oh, hell no!
And the answer to all of those questions is yes. and yes, and yes. You got to craft a statement or a couple sentences. You have to memorize them and know them in and out, and you have to be able to say them as soon as you are asked what you do or how you work with people. I've even had people ask me, who is your ideal customer and how can I refer people to you? And that's when you pull out that 60-second commercial. So with your UVP being clear in step 2, it's definitely time for you to craft your 60-second commercial. And it's really truly a short pitch.
Hi, my name's Lindsay Lorraine and I'm from Parker, Colorado. I am the founder of Easy Peasy.
I'm out. So I've worked with students. I actually teach at Cuyahoga Community College an entrepreneur program, and we have them kind of give their 60-second commercial before each class. And sometimes they're not 60 seconds and they go on forever and ever. And I want you to know that people will tune out if you can't succinctly and very easily tell them exactly what you do, how you do it, and how it will benefit them. And so it's not just about what you sell. Okay, it's not just about what you sell. That is absolutely important for you to recognize. Nobody cares what you sell. It's about telling a story that will connect the audience that you're talking to emotionally and logically to what you sell. So it's got to emotionally connect with people. And that's what's so important. So here's a little bit about the structure of what your 60-second commercial should contain. Number 1, it should contain an introduction. That should only be about 10 seconds of their 60-second commercial, which quickly introduces your business, right? And it should also talk about the problem and indicate the pain point or the challenge that your business ultimately solves. So you want to state that problem or that common problem and then target that your audience is facing and let your person that you're talking to know that you understand the pain points and the challenges. So that should be about 10 or 15 seconds of your commercial. And then it should very clearly state the solution, right? That should be the bulk of your UVP or your 60-second commercial. Introducing your product or service as the solution and emphasizing what your UVP is. And then you ultimately have, after you do all of that, your 60-second commercial that describes your UVP and ultimately gives your audience exactly what you do, how you do it, and how it could benefit them. So I want to give you an example because I think it's really important for everybody here to understand. And I'm going to do that by giving you my 60-second commercial that I use day in and day out. And I'm also going to show it to you so that you can ultimately take a screenshot if you want to, and then you can build yours around it. So it's time to screenshot. And if you do screenshot, make sure that you go out to Instagram, Cheryl C. Perez, and tag me. And then you can ask any questions. I'd like to be able to give you some feedback on your 60-second commercial. Or you can also make sure that you put that in the comments below, what your 60-second commercial is. And then I can ultimately chime in and give you some feedback on ways that I might tweak it or what's missing from it or whether you have hit the nail on the head. So here is my 60-second commercial that includes my UVP. I empower entrepreneurs who want to start and grow a business by helping them create the structure, strategies, systems, and squads that will get them to the life of entrepreneurial freedom that they desire. I do this by providing consulting services, coaching programs, and online courses that provide step-by-step guidance and how they can take action to actually achieve their dreams. So you see how in that statement, it was definitely less than 60 seconds. So I think I know it's under 60 seconds, but that ultimately tells everybody exactly what I offer, right? So we talked about that. Exactly who I target, which is entrepreneurs who want to start and grow a business. And then exactly what the pain point is, right? Creating the strategies, systems, processes, and structure and squads to help them grow their business, start and grow their business, and ultimately achieve their dreams of freedom, right? That they desire. So the statement kind of incorporates all of the things that I do, who I'm targeting, what I offer, and how it benefits them. And from that statement, anybody that I am speaking with or talking to very quickly knows exactly who I am, what I do, who I work with, and what their problems are, and how what I offer ultimately helps them solve that problem. So I want you to drop a comment down below, again, with your own UVP. After you've done this work and you've grabbed that checklist, because the checklist is going to help you kind of create yours, and any questions that you have about creating this 60-second commercial or this unique value proposition statement, because it is really going to be important to your business. You're going to use it over and over and over again. I've probably said it in person 1,000 million times since I started my first business, and it also needs to be included in your marketing materials. It needs to be included on your website. It will often formulate your tagline. It will do all of those things in your business. So make sure you let me know what yours is below and I can give you some feedback on it. Now, step number 4 in this is that you're not done yet, right? Once you have done it, you've got to test it and refine your commercial. The first one that you do isn't going to be perfect. That's okay. But as you continue to use it and say it, you'll see whether or not you start to get a response from it. So now I oftentimes meet people and they say, what is it that you do? I give them the 60-second commercial and instantly they're like, we need to connect, right? We need to connect. I'm an entrepreneur. I've got a side hustle. I want to work with you. And ultimately we'll exchange contact information and that brings a lead into my business. That's how you know when your UVP or when your 60-second commercial is hitting on all cylinders. That, my love, is how you know. When you say it to someone and they look at you and they say, we need to work together, and it brings a lead into your business. So once you've got it drafted, you've got to make sure that you test it and that you continue to refine it and that you continue to use it until you start to ultimately see results from it. And one of the best ways that you can test it, if you don't want to do it, is potential customers, mentors, in online forums, at networking events. They're all great ways to test it out. And some key points in this area that I want you to keep in mind is when you're testing and refining, you want to make sure that you're getting feedback. You want to make sure that you're continually fixing it and tweaking it and making sure that it meets that criteria that I talked to you about before, and that you can ultimately practice it and memorize it and repeat it over and over. Repeat testing it helps you memorize. And yes, you want to memorize it, because if you don't memorize it, it becomes very stressful when someone asks you and you can't off the top of your head say it, and you start flubbing and being all nervous and aggravating them and you with what it is, and you could have very easily lost an opportunity. So make sure that you're doing those things in this step, because testing and refining of your UVP will make it solid, will make it impactful, and will ultimately get you the results that you want. So now you know how to find your unique value proposition and how to turn it into an amazing 60-second commercial that speaks directly to your audience, that you can ultimately separate you out from the competition, that you can use when you are pitching to potential clients. You can use it on your website. You can use it at networking events, and it really does allow you to stand out from your competition. And remember, the perfect pitch is a blend of clarity, brevity, and passion. And again, if you want to continue to tweak this and go even further, in the description down below and the link in the comments on the website that I gave you, grab my free UVP checklist that I am providing you with. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, my loves, I will see you really soon. Have a great one. Bye-bye. Mwah! You an entrepreneur.